Mitt Romney's voice has popped up sporadically in the 2016 election, mostly talking about the Republican race, mostly talking about how terrible Donald Trump would be. And there's a new report from the Washington Post which says that some veteran Republican consultants are plotting to bring in an independent candidate. And the idea of John Kasich is being explored. Now, there were reports that Romney is looking to run. I've looked very closely at what the Washington Post actually said. They said Romney is involved in the recruiting. A ton of stories, Lewis, saying Romney's going to run with Kasich as his running mate. If that happens, that I've not seen any report suggesting that. The point is Romney is involved in trying to get somebody to run, and maybe that person would be Kasich. I don't know how much traction this could get.
No, I don't know. I know he likes Kasich. But what else do we know?
Yeah.
That's really it.
It might be futile at this point, but it is being looked at. And another possibility would be Senator Ben Sasse from Nebraska, who's been a big critic of Donald Trump. John Weaver, who is John Kasich's chief strategist, said that he is not interested in running as an independent. Let's just quickly break this down in terms of what could or couldn't happen. Even if today, let's assume for a second, even if Romney did run, okay, let's say Romney Kasich said we're running as a third party independent candidates. Number one, we've already passed a number of state deadlines to get onto ballots. So that opportunity is gone. But imagine for a second, I don't know, Romney and Kasich. And again, the report is not that Romney would run, but I'm saying if he did. If Romney and Kasich could get together and do a write-in candidacy, it's possible that the margin in some states would be small enough between the Democratic and the Republican nominee that having Mitt Romney written in could actually flip some states. Georgia is one that was mentioned, Lewis. Georgia is a state where Hillary Clinton is not expected to win if she's the nominee. Bernie Sanders is not expected to win if he is the nominee, but that it will be relatively close. If you have a strong third-party right-wing candidate there running as a write-in, you don't need that many votes to take enough away from the Republican candidate to flip it to the Democrat, which would be a huge, huge problem for Donald Trump.
Yeah. And so I know that they want to disrupt all of that.
Yeah.
But like you said, is it worth it to go through all of that just to try and disrupt things a little bit for Trump?
Well, the other issue is if you're a Republican wanting to play spoiler or thinking about this, you have to remember that you really have to be sure that by handing this election to a Democrat in 2016, you were absolutely positioning yourself to take over in 2020, and that the 4 years of the Democrat won't be worse than 8 years of Trump in your mind, right? I'm sort of saying, how would a Republican have to think about it? Because you were essentially giving the election to a Democrat for 4 years and then hoping it's enough of a disaster in the eyes of voters that you can then take over in 2020. Whereas if you have a Republican president, you don't typically see strong primary challenges to an incumbent president.
Yeah. I mean, if I were a Republican in Congress right now, I would take Hillary over Donald Trump in a heartbeat.
Really?
Well, of course.
Safer on corporate stuff and less of a loose cannon.
Of course. And strong, and I'll put this in quotes, strong on national defense and security, right?
Yeah, checking certain neocon boxes, I think is what you mean.
Yes.
Yeah.